Welcome back to the Flicks Forum podcast, where each episode we go back and we look at a Netflix original film in the order of release. Today we have Netflix's 82nd film. It's the 2018 comedy Dude. Directed by Olivia Milch, it stars Lucy Hale, Kathryn Prescott, Alexandra Shipp, Awkwafina and Alex Wolff. I'm Jesse and I'm here with MJ.
How are you, mates?
Good, how are you?
Good. I watched Dude on a Sunday night.
Yes.
And I sort of saw on IMDb that it was comedy drama, but I sort of see an hour and a half comedy called Dude. I'm like, cool, I'm in the mood for like a dude kind of comedy. And it wasn't what I was expecting.
I watched this really hungover.
Did you?
Really hungover. It was on a Sunday too.
Yeah.
But whew, I tell you what.
I reckon I know what you did the night before as well.
I think I might have been with you the night before. But yeah, whew, I tell you what, dude. What are we gonna do about this one?
Not what I expected. That's what I can say. Which is it's not a bad thing.
No. Okay. Well, we start our show with our fast flicks, where we do our own quick little summary of the film. MJ, what have you got going for us for your fast flicks?
Yeah. So. For Dude, I've got a group of friends approaching their high school graduation, start to foresee some of the adult problems that are set to hit them, all the while dealing with tragedies from the past that have never stopped bubbling at the surface.
Where can I find that film?
I'm glad. I thought you were going to have to go on my length.
No, I'm intrigued to watch that film. I don't know. Do we watch the same film?
Nah, that film, I'm not saying the film particularly did it very well.
Okay.
But that was the essence of it.
Okay. Well,
plot-wise.
Mine's a little bit different.
Okay. I'm actually really excited.
I'm a little bit worried. My quick fast flicks is a bunch of seniors constantly think about dick and weed.
Yep. There's a bit of that too.
That's all I got.
There's a bit of that too.
Yeah. Well, we'll spend the next bit of time talking about this one, I guess.
Hey, I'm not saying I disagree with you.
No, not at all. So.
Spoiler alert?
Yeah, spoiler alert. Feel free to hit us up. What are you spoiling?
Yeah, we often forget to do this. So we will talk in depth about this film. So if you haven't seen the film Dude and you do want to see it, I'd watch it before you listen to us if you don't want to have it spoiled. If you're happy to have it spoiled, then continue to listen. If you have seen it and you want to hear us talk about it, well, then you're absolutely in the right place.
Keep listening. We start out, after our fast flicks, we have a look at anything we've learnt about a film. Now, this one was a little bit harder to find too much. What were you able to discover about Dude?
Yeah, okay. So the script itself, which was written by the director Olivia Milch, was on the 2013 blacklist, which is the best of the unproduced scripts of that year. Which I think if you look through all the blacklists, there's been some incredible films that have come off the blacklist in the time.
Sure has.
So that was in 2013. It was written and then put on the blacklist, and then in 2015, in November, it was announced that Olivia Milch would make her directorial debut with the film, with the script that she wrote. And from that, the principal photography began on November 30, 2015, and the film was shot in Los Angeles. So from then, it took until May 2017 until Netflix acquired the distribution rights to the film. And then they didn't release it until April 2018.
You have filled in quite a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah, well, they're the facts that you want to know if you haven't heard about it. So it was initially produced by June Pictures, and they were the ones that sold it to Netflix. So the film, from what I can gather, was finished when they sold it.
Cool. The only other thing that I've got that's a little different is the high school that they filmed in is the high school from Teen Wolf, the TV show.
Okay.
That's the only thing.
As in the recent
2011 TV show, yeah. So it's the same high school.
Have you seen it? I've never seen Teen Wolf.
I watched like the first episode of Teen Wolf.
Okay.
That's about it.
Didn't do enough to keep you in.
Nah, not my cup of tea.
Yeah, fair enough.
Consensus.
Well, IMDb is kind of middle of the road. On IMDb, it's got a 5.1 out of 10 from 5,619 ratings. Letterboxd didn't like this, Jesse.
Didn't they? Why not?
Letterboxd gave it a 2.2.
That's pretty low.
5. Actually had more ratings than
IMDb.
Just had 5,701. But the more film-loving audience that we talk about on Letterboxd didn't like this film.
I've got my Google users, 76%.
That's pretty low for them.
That is very low for them.
People have gone and
1 in 4 person said I don't like this.
Elected to not do it.
The other one that I have a look at is Rotten Tomatoes. There was only 4 reviews for this film on there. 3 were fresh and 1 was rotten.
They'd be disappointed in that.
audience on Rotten Tomatoes, however, 38%. Now that's very low.
They didn't like it, did they?
On 180 or so.
Yeah, okay.
So we're looking more on the negative side than the positive side.
So it's just under par, you'd say, for this one. Well, isn't that a good segue?
Sure, segue in.
I don't think that you've left much of the imagination, Jesse. But what did you think of this film?
I didn't hate this film, but I didn't like it. But I didn't really enjoy it, but I didn't dislike it.
Yep.
So I'm saying the same sort of thing, but it's
Yeah.
sort of like you said with Letterboxd, sort of in the middle of the road. It's just it
existed.
It wasn't really poor, it wasn't really good, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, I can
I'm really stuck with this one because I didn't think the performances were ordinary. I didn't think that, like, you could tell it was made on a cheap budget, and I didn't mind the way that they did it for the amount of money they probably had for this. But at the same time, there wasn't a lot that I liked, and there wasn't a lot that I didn't like, but there is stuff I didn't like. So that's where I'm at.
That's not dissimilar to me. Because in general, I'd say I didn't really like it. I had issues with quite a few elements of it.
I reckon there's going to be something that we're going to be straight on the same with this when we get to it.
Because there was some like general entertainment wins that I can note, and there was a couple of times where I chuckled. By and large, though, I think the film completely missed the mark. And we'll get into this later, but I just felt like there were so many important thought starters that never got explored enough. Yeah. And I'm okay with no resolution on them to some extent, but they just kind of brought it up, let it sit there, and then walked off instead of really exploring it properly. So
that's fair, I think. Yeah.
So just a few things that I wasn't happy with, and I thought they could have done a better job at. And there's a few things that I think were just plain irresponsible as well.
Yeah, so there's a lot of. I'm very this is a female director, and there's a lot of stuff in this that I'm very confused about.
Very confused.
Which we'll touch on as we get there later.
There's one glaringly obvious that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I think so. All right, character time. So the characters in this are literally a bunch of female friends that you follow throughout this film.
Yep.
And then there's a few males that interact with their lives. So that's pretty much the
I mean,
the
you could argue that it's like a female stoner film, but it's not got that like full comedy stupid. Like they try to do a little bit more with it, so you kind of left wanting. So
yeah, that's fair. So we start with Lily. Lily's
Lily.
Our main protagonist.
Yeah, Lily's the film, right? And I think it's interesting to note that I'd be curious to see this film from different of these group of friends' perspective, because you see enough of them, but I just find, because it's so heavily Lily, but she was so destructive. I liked the angle of her going headfirst into everything, because she's arguably trying to mask the pain of what she feels from Thomas's death.
Yep.
But I also got the impression that was just her personality.
Yeah.
So it didn't necessarily feel like the aftermath of dealing with a tragedy, which kind of was one of the main plot points as well.
I think they set her up before the tragedy to be like that anyway. So it didn't seem like that she'd fallen into this.
It wasn't a coping mechanism.
Controlling. She was very controlling, and
she was.
They do this through. She can't delegate to anyone. Loves to be organised. Everything's about organisation and planning and scrapbooking. Like they do this scrapbooking. That's the biggest bloody organisational sort of little thing that you can think of.
Yeah.
And a very jealous character too. Like couldn't deal with anyone putting attention on anyone but her. Like especially with like her friends. Like they're happy. Meeting boys and this sort of stuff. And she just like. Yeah, I just
my way out the highway.
Yeah, and especially like there's scenes with her brother too where she's very protective of the little sister with the homework, and it was just this awkward sort of scene where she bosses the brother just for the sake of it, just to show she's a bossy character.
Well, that's why I think she was. I wrote down when I was watching. I don't write too many films when I watch. Sorry, too many notes when I watch. But I wrote down that she is so destructive. There was a period of like 6 scenes in a row where she was making a point of sabotaging her own relationship with people because she was so pig-headed on the way she was thinking, and now like. I think because it was from her perspective, we do understand where she's coming from to some extent. Yeah. But she handles it so poorly that you completely understand why people wanted to turn their back on her.
And if they were trying to connect it for this dealing with loss, they didn't do a very good job with it.
I agree, because that was like the saving grace, right? And I think she could have lent on that more, and they could have lent on that more because it was real. Like there was a genuine connection between her and Thomas, and I was going to get the impression that no one else knew that connection and that was going to be revealed at the end. And it kind of annoyed me when Chloe was just like, oh yeah, he was in love with you, he wrote it in a letter to me. I was like, oh, that was supposed to be like the reveal of you understanding where she's coming from. But so yeah, I don't necessarily know why or how they did it that way, but that was Lily.
That was Lily. We spoke about Thomas, so he was in it for not very long at all. The brother of Chloe and the partner of Lily.
How long did it take you to click? I know he made the comment about mum, or one of them made a comment about mum will be, because I didn't click that they were brother and sister until just before he died. But even then, I wasn't sure if Lily and Chloe were sisters or something. I got a bit confused when someone said mum this, and I was like, oh, okay. And then the funeral, like, why was everyone so worried about Chloe? I don't know.
I think when
took me a while to
when they're at that lookout, I think that's where I picked up, because she's like, oh, don't be too late because mum will be waiting for
That's
her.
what I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that too, and then I must have been tuning out a little bit.
I just wrote Thomas dead. Next.
They didn't do a bad job of actually making Thomas quite charismatic and
in the couple of scenes that you get.
That you do care enough, because it's tricky killing someone off in the first 3 minutes and actually having you care about it, and they did a good enough job of that.
Yes. What have we got next?
Chloe,
okay. What have you got about Chloe?
I did feel as though she was probably the most normal.
Sure.
And as I said, I wonder what the film would have been like if it was told from her perspective. But then again, maybe that sort of film's been done a million times before. So I thought she was pretty mature and sensible, and even though I wish she had have seen things from Lily's side a little bit more, I do understand her perspective and all of it, and she just, as a character, made the most sense to me. I found her easiest to latch onto.
I don't even know if we needed her to understand Lily, because I don't think Lily could be understood by anyone. So I think that's it was a tough situation to have your best friend being so out of control, not out of control, but just obsessively into.
Yeah, she's a control freak, and she just expected her friends, and her friends, they were good enough friends, and they wanted to go with what Lily was saying most of the time, because they were real go with the flow kind of guys, and they loved each other, like they were really good friends, but. It went to the next level, and how it went to the next level, I didn't really buy into it. It felt a little bit forced, and they used big things that they probably didn't have to use. But you're right. Chloe was a bit nothing, but also I kind of needed her to keep myself sane, because I'm like, that's how I'd react, or that's how
you almost needed like a complete opposite to what Lily was like, just to keep the film almost grounded.
That's it.
There were the other two. So there's the four friends. We've said the main two, and then you've got Rebecca and Amelia.
Yeah.
And there's not they try to, through Rebecca, she's got this sort of fascination with the librarian dude, which is a little bit weird.
Didn't like that either.
Didn't like that. Bemis. I think his name was Bemis. Mr. Bemis.
Yeah.
That was a little bit weird. Especially there's a scene where she goes into the toilet. That was a little bit weird as well.
It's going to come up.
Yeah. And Amelia, I feel like I didn't really get to know her.
I'm glad, because it was almost like they follow the two white girls, and then the Latino or the dark skin and the Asian girl. Oh, well, they're in our group. It's okay. We're all friends.
Representation we've got.
But we're just so Amelia was barely explored outside of the fact that her parents were feuding and going through this divorce, and I guess her prom date kind of cheated on her, or did he? I don't think they were together, or they were just going to go to prom together. But all the stuff that you find out about Amelia is just surface stuff. They don't dig deep at all. They're big issues, and they just kind of leave them there. And then Rebecca. They had the issue of the whole student loan coming from a family without much money, and I think that's a really cool thing to explore. But again, they just told you that it happened, and it just meant that she read books about it and she could talk about it with people, and that was
and they made big points about that. But it was
we just got family.
We've got these two characters to just sort of support the other two, and we'll just have a backstory for them, but not explain anything about it.
Yeah, that's it. And you didn't feel anything that was coming at them. If you didn't explicitly tell me that she was going to have an issue with her student loan, I had no idea. If she wasn't reading
why is she reading this stuff?
Said how to manage student loans or whatever.
There's piles of those books.
there's no other reason. But that Mr. Bemis thing was just weird. Insane. I don't even know what they were trying to say with it.
It was like a few cheap laughs that they.
That's what I think. If it was supposed to be coming from a humor perspective, it just missed the mark. And if you take out every single reference or scene that talks about that, the narrative doesn't change at all. The whole part of that film was the part of that story was just didn't need to see any of it. That didn't change anything.
No, agree.
It was terrible.
I've just put Sam and Noah together. So these are like these guys that are. So Sam's Chloe's sort of partner, and Noah's this awkward dude who plays a guitar to try and get Lily to go to the prom with him.
Yep.
What do you think?
Well, so I've got them separately because I do think they are quite different. So with Noah, we don't really get to know Noah outside of his interaction with Lily. So it is kind of sorry to hit the microphone. It's kind of hard to dig too deep, but I found him hard to figure out because he seemed like sweet and innocent, and then he kind of seemed like seasoned high school boy. And then his whole storyline just kind of played into Lily's hands. So the whole thing was just not that imaginative. So I should have stopped trying with him.
It was a tool for her progression. And then Sam to me was the same. It was just like a stark point, so she could be annoyed at Chloe. That was all Sam was there for. Was because it was a barrier between her and their relationship with her friend.
True. If I'm going to break this down even further and just jump into this world for a second.
I don't think anyone's spoken this in depth about this film. So
True. Well, I thought Sam was just a really good guy. And I didn't want to shy away from that. Like, he was sweet. He was respectful. He cared about Chloe. He understood the baggage that came with Chloe. He made the effort with her friends. He was cool enough to host an after party and then pushy enough to win Chloe over so he wasn't like this boring nice guy. He was just a stand-up guy, and I feel like that was kind of glossed over a little bit. Like, she hit the jackpot with this guy.
But they only care about Chloe and Lily. It doesn't. No one else matters.
He's like the classic guys want to be him, girls want to date him. Like, he was great.
I'm struggling a little bit when we're talking about these characters because I watch Blockers since I've watched this film.
Yep.
And some of the teen stereotypes and characters are very similar in that. So
Blockers is a lot funnier than this. You didn't like it?
No, Blockers is alright. Check it out on Letterboxd. What I wrote.
I didn't mind Blockers.
Yeah, I think it's it's tricky. So if I do say some things that don't make sense, that's
I'll pull you up.
Pull me up.
No, John Cena was.
Really? Butt chug. Director. Or have you got any more characters? Sorry,
no, I got any more characters.
The director, Olivia Milch.
Yeah, writer and director,
and wrote Ocean's 8.
Afterwards,
so,
yeah. This was her debut.
And I liked Ocean's 8.
I haven't seen Ocean's 8, but her father is a writer-producer. So he was a writer and producer on Hill Street Blues, NYPD Blue, Deadwood, all that kind of copy TV stuff. And so she kind of grew up with a toe in the industry, I guess. And yeah, you're right. She got a writing credit on Ocean's 8 with Gary Ross. I think they wrote it together. She was also a producer on Ocean's 8.
I think so, yeah.
So for someone who's got a very small sort of filmography, she jumped into Ocean's 8 nicely. Big, yeah. She's obviously got the connections. But yeah, her debut. And I don't think she's directed any feature since. No.
The cast, what do you thought? I thought that they were fine for this type of film.
They're all kind of names. They've all got something that you know that you've seen them in, kind of thing. Lucy Hale is in Pretty Little Liars.
Yep. This was her first film, naked scene. I read online, some forum somewhere.
Do you think? I'm just trying to think. Have we seen nudity on Netflix yet?
It's a good question.
I don't know if we had, because when it came on the screen, firstly I was just expecting it to be like a hookup scene that you don't see anything, and I was like, oh wow, they're going for this. I can't recall nudity in our 83 Netflix films that we've covered so far. Not that I'm sure Netflix doesn't have all right, we're ready to do it now, guys. We're going to unveil some nudity.
Our Souls at Night, Jane Fonda, I can't remember, was there a bit of...
I didn't quite.
That was just a joke.
That was a sweet little film about an old couple. But she's kind of a name. Awkwafina, this is probably before she really broke out, but Awkwafina.
Well, she was in Ocean's 8 as well, so maybe that was I don't know whether that's a good connection.
She obviously hit the jackpot with Crazy Rich Asians and The Farewell, but Alex Wolff's in a few things. He's in Jumanji and Hereditary.
I got a good story about that, Jumanji. So I went on... This is going to spoil a scene from this film, but I went on... I watched Jumanji first time during this week. Went on Letterboxd, logged it, went the first review, and the first review was literally like... Alex Wolff doesn't eat a girl out for 11 minutes in Jumanji. Wrong film. I was like, oh my God. This is literally this is talking about dude in a Jumanji review on Letterboxd.
That wasn't 11 minutes. Sorry.
In the past time. So anyway, I was like, I can't believe that was the first review on Jumanji. I would not have got that joke if I hadn't have seen...
later,
I would not have got that joke if I hadn't have seen this film.
So you had just watched Dude.
Yeah,
And then you
I'd watch
wouldn't
Dude and then I'd watch Jumanji during the week.
That's
and
amazing.
Then first thing on Letterboxd, first review.
That review would mean nothing to so many people.
Yeah.
And then it got you. So well done, person who wrote that.
Yeah, very clever.
So yeah, look, I think the cast was fine for what it's worth. Yeah.
Cool.
They're all decent names. They've all done some good stuff.
Scene time. Time to talk about some scenes.
Talk about some scenes.
What stood out for you?
Well, there's a couple of little things I laughed at that I don't think you will like.
Good. I always like our differing comedic likes.
The first time I laughed and the first time I wrote anything down for this film was when Chloe requested to go to the bathroom. The teacher said, "Can it wait?" And he goes, "Not if you want a bloody beanbag." And his response was, "Menstruation is a miracle. I wish I could go through it." I just like that interaction, and I think it set up a tone of this school that actually didn't really happen beyond that. But I was kind of excited for it. I was like, "Cool, this will be a fun like high school movie." But
sure,
it kind of existed only in that conversation. I don't think you'll like this either, but I like the song that Noah sung.
Yeah.
Only because when he got up there with the ukulele, I was dreading it. I was like, this is gonna suck balls. And he kind of nailed it. It was fun. It was probably that similar kind of tonal to the scene I just mentioned, but it was fun. It kind of showed a bit of his character. I liked it. Mainly because I wasn't expecting to like it. Don't look at me like that.
I listened to it and that was about it. Like I didn't take anything in from it.
It was funny.
Okay.
And I really liked the conversation with the cops when they were talking about the 2 tampons.
Yeah.
It was a really fun exchange because him talking about his daughters and then by the end of it just like really dreading like what he's going to have to go through as a dad.
I didn't mind that until you get this scene from Lily, like right at the end where she turns and goes, "Oh, you should read this book. This book will help you out." Like, we know you're a know-it-all. We don't need that. Like, it was just... she'd already... Ugh.
It did mean that she mentioned the word discharge. And the only thing that he picked up of her whole comment was discharge. So that, yeah, you're right, though.
Yeah.
This scene was good because this is my kind of scene. And it didn't work entirely. But the emotional argument between Lily and Chloe, when they had that fight with the 4 of them, and then Lily walked off and Chloe followed her, it was an easy win, but it worked, and they said some things that had to be said, and I thought the acting from both of them was excellent in that scene. That's a fair call. That scene, to make this film take another step, that scene takes another step itself, because that's the scene, right?
Yeah.
You know, but I still think it was good enough, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's a fair call.
And the last one I've got is kind of funny, but also I kind of like the message behind the quote when the mum makes Lily smash the bong.
Yep.
And she says, you know, you think you know everything, you don't know shit. Now learn your lesson and smash your bong. Yeah. It's supposed to sound a bit funny, but that was exactly the advice that Lily needed at that time, and she didn't listen to it, which totally kind of annoyed me a little bit because...
I was happy the mum still smashed it though.
Yeah, same. But you think you know everything, you don't know shit. Because this girl is walking around like, I'm going to make a decision for everyone. If they don't agree with it, well, they're wrong.
Yeah.
So I like that message from someone who didn't seem like she was like, you know, the best mum in the world. She still got that right, so I like that. Yeah,
good point.
That's all for me though.
I like the opening. As soon as the film started, it started with that Snoop Dogg song.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought that was a cool start to the film.
I was like,
this is cool.
Yeah, you're right.
And then my other standout scene was the final scene, the long tracking shot at the barbecue at the end. There was just it would have taken a while to actually set that shot up where the camera literally just tracks every character in there. The timing and everything, that was great.
So you like the opening and the closing?
Correct.
The hour and a half in between was so.
Like I said, there's not like I didn't dislike this film, but there was nothing that really stood out in between for me.
Sure, that's fine.
What do you want to forget?
I want to forget Awkwafina masturbating in the bathroom with that stripper footage of Mr. Bemis.
And like the chick in the cubicle next door.
So this is what I did like.
Yeah.
When that goth girl comes out and the line, and she delivered it perfectly. Have you ever masturbated to completion next to a complete stranger before? With the straightest face. I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was very funny. But when there was nothing to suggest that she was getting hot and heavy over him stamping books, like it was like even American Pie wouldn't.
Yeah, it's
make
one of those
joke.
Weird librarian sort of jokes that's not really funny.
Yeah, so that was rubbish.
I agree, that was rubbish.
When Lily got out that birthday cake for Thomas in the
a bit awkward,
just eerie. Almost like and creepy the way they were singing it. And like it's your friend's sister. I get it that this is your kind of personality.
Trying to be nice, but it was
it didn't work.
Nah.
And I don't know, I'm not saying that scene didn't work because I guess it kind of fit in with everyone from a character perspective. Man, I watched it being like, ugh.
Did you actually go when you watched it?
That
would have been cool.
Well, this is a scene that I actually really liked, but it kind of annoyed me that it got to this point and that the character of the brother wasn't explored more. So I like the fact that her brother was the one that got through to Lily, because she mentioned earlier that they are the only two that will understand what each other is going through, or what each other has been through, obviously with their father leaving. So it was fitting that he kind of understood her and her mindset. Because everyone else was giving her this really sage advice, but it wasn't sticking. So I appreciated that payoff when it came, but it kind of annoyed me that they didn't explore that relationship more.
Okay, so I've got that scene in what I didn't like as well, but not because of that. Like, so yeah, I totally agree. Like, if you've built this, you didn't see him again, did you? After that conversation, maybe at the barbecue,
maybe at prom or graduation or something. Yeah, but
because so all of a sudden, you know, he was in like two scenes really. The brother, two main scenes, two talking scenes. Really. So the first scene is where Lily has a go at him for ruining the sister's homework.
Yep.
And that's where she's like being the parent. And the second scene you see him, it's like reverse roles. So he's the one giving her the wisdom, and he's like telling her, you're always freaking out and you're trying to hold on to stuff. And like you said, she clicks with that. But we didn't really need, like, because she's like, oh, you know, you're so wise or whatever she said. We don't need him to be the role model. Like, we didn't need a male role model for her or someone that connects with her when she's got all these strong women around her.
I don't think it was a male thing as much as it... So a lot of this story... Like, no, it was more... They have been through the same thing. Connection. So everyone in this film, more or less, has been through something. So you've got Amelia with her parents going through, obviously, Rebecca with her financial struggles with her family. Chloe obviously lost her brother. And then Lily's whole thing is that her dad left, and they kind of... The longer the movie goes on, the more you realise how much of an impact that has on her.
They make lots of comments about, you know, we screwed up because our dad's left.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the only person that actually understands what she's going through is him, because he went through the exact same thing. So I don't think it was more about a gender thing as much as it was... And the problem is that she only listened to him because she gets him. He didn't say anything that was better than anybody else, right? No. But she kind of respects the fact that, okay, you get me and you understand where I'm coming from. So.
I think it just annoyed me that we spend so much time with her friends and they're more the cliquey group that she hangs around with. We see so many more scenes of them. Why couldn't, like, I just would have liked that breakthrough moment with one of them, I think.
Even their sort of like coming back together scene was just rubbish. Yeah. Well, not even scene, just the fact that they slowly came back together was just like, oh, like you could have made a big deal out of this. Like this, yeah, go power, go big friendship. Like, they say they love each other all the time. They're going to college together, and but then they just kind of like, oh yeah, we're cool. Yeah, we're cool. Like,
okay.
Not that it's bad.
No,
like,
yeah.
You can make it bigger.
Yep. Okay. What else?
That was it. Sorry.
Is it? Most mine are just like these little things that annoyed me, I guess, more so than massive scenes. Like, I get that it's a low budget film, but when the brother dies at the start, it was literally just that fade to black with the car crash sounds in the background. I was like. It's a little bit cheap.
It was a little bit cheap for sure.
When they rock up to school, did you notice the name of the school? It was called the Path Less Taken School.
Oh yeah, no, I did.
Come on, give me a rest.
But sorry, does that mean it was like a different kind of school though?
Like possibly.
Yeah, I got that vibe. Maybe it's like everyone has to smoke marijuana to be at the school.
Maybe it's like if you've got a drug conviction, you're there because every time they rock up, they're smoke coming out the windows of the car.
Do they call teachers by their first... Like, because that teacher...
The mentor sort of dude.
Yeah, they called him by his name. Because he's like, why aren't you in class? And it's like, why aren't you in class?
Yeah.
So maybe it's some sort of different school. We should have looked into that.
Yeah. Lily, like at school, Lily says, I've got to dump out. And then she goes to take a dump.
Yeah. I might use that one. If we've got to pause the podcast, I might go dump out.
There's a scene where like they have the park bench like on the baseball field, like it's a really sort of symbolic place between the brother and the sister and the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And after he's died,
the sister and the girlfriend sounds funny.
Well,
yeah, I know. It works.
Not all at the same time, obviously. There's a plaque on the bench.
Yeah.
It just looked like it was like done like on a printer that they've just printed off the computer and stuck it on the park bench. It was rubbish.
I don't think I even looked at it. I think I just thought, oh yeah, there's a plaque there. That's a nice touch. But yeah.
The dog taking that weed mint strip and then having that conversation with the other dog. that was a little bit weird.
Oh, I should have put that in.
I was just like, whoa, this came from nowhere.
That was bad.
I put in here just that 11-minute scene because I just didn't know what to think of it. I don't know if I liked it or if I hated it. It was just weird.
That was alright.
Yeah, okay. This maybe you're going to want to talk about later, but I really didn't, and we probably mentioned this, but there's a scene towards the end where Lily hooks up with this guy and she literally says to him, "We are not going to have sex." Mm-hmm. And then he rapes her.
Cool, let's talk about it now.
And then the follow-up from the friends are they blamed her for being by herself. And I just I literally wrote in my notes, really. I was like, what world do we live in where that would happen?
Cool. This is my biggest issue with the film. So Lily got raped. She just got raped. Like, there's no ifs, if, what's, or buts about it.
But like, when I was watching, I was like, did that really just happen? Like, I couldn't.
And you know what? Well done for capturing it like that, because that's what it can be like.
Yeah.
Like, you got raped. Hang on, did I just get raped? Like, that's how it can be. So I kind of appreciated that.
But you need some follow up.
Because she voluntarily went upstairs. She was hooking up.
Yeah.
But she clearly said, like, we're not going to use it as condoms. She explicitly told him to stop.
Yeah.
And regardless of whether, like, she shook it off, like, her personality was like, I'm okay, like, don't worry about it. You can't just leave a film like that.
You can't just put it in a film and the revenge is he gets kicked in the nuts.
In the balls. That was it. Like, well, you know what? This guy got his comeuppance. No.
Maybe like a test screen. Like, there was no resolution. We'll just add in a scene where he gets kicked. That's not a resolution.
It was absolutely unbelievable. It is one of the most careless components of a film I have seen in such a long time.
Yep.
It was unbelievable. And I'm not even like bothered about the girls being like, hey, because when she said, like, you know, I was with the guy and something happened, they're all just like, whoa, what happened? And then, like, she kind of stopped about it. I'm like, okay, well, this might come back. And it never comes back. Like,
you could tell the emotion in her was building and building, and you could tell this is impacting her. And
Absolutely.
But then literally it was just like, they just fobbed it off.
Yeah. And she says something like, I think it's when she's on the bench in the baseball diamond, she says something like, you know, what happened to you, Chloe's like, what happened to you with that guy? And she kind of says, like, it's okay. Like, I'm okay. I can handle it. It's like, not the point, and not the message that you should be putting in this film. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
That's what I mean about if you want to. It's like a female stoner film. Don't put that in. No. Don't make that part of the film if you're just going to gloss over it and act like it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
because
if you're going to put it in, you need a good follow up with some sort of like, I don't know, just some reflection that what happened was wrong and not acceptable. Yeah. Because a kick in the nuts is not a good enough punishment.
No, fuck that. That really pissed me off.
Okay.
We talk about the fast flicks being our elevator pitch for this film. If someone's like, what was this film about? I'd be like, well, it talks about rape and just kind of says it's all right. Like, that's probably the main thing I remember about this film, and it's so wrong. And that's what pisses me off about this film. Sorry, yeah.
I've still got one other scene to go, which feels bad after talking about because that has to be the worst scene in the film.
That's the exclamation point. Yeah.
There's a scene where the cop pulls Lily over with the bong in the backseat of her car, and I just thought that it was just too in your face what the cop was saying about what was happening in her life at that time. Like,
really specific, wasn't it?
Because she'd stopped in traffic, and he's like, you know, using the car as a metaphor that you can't just stop. You know, life is happening around you. I was like, this is gross, like really gross.
It was pretty bad. I actually don't even know why they had that scene. Like, she just got pulled over and, I don't know, maybe got a fine or something for slowing down. But then her mum cracked at her like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. What are some themes? What are some ideas in this one? Because I think it tried to say a lot of stuff but probably didn't really follow through with much.
Yeah. I mean, I want to touch on the drug use, right? It's a theme of the film because it's constant. But so Thomas was kind of renowned for being high all the time, which you don't really notice until Sam sort of mentions it at the end.
Yeah.
He was high before he crashed his car.
True.
And yet, drug use is beyond normalised in this film. It's kind of like a bonding agent for friends, and every single person does it to the point of it's like drinking coffee. So the constant use of it just did not work for me. It felt like they were trying to be cool and like this is what people do, this is what people see, and it was almost embarrassing the way that it turned out. I just thought it was, again, not as careless as the rape scene.
But it's still careless because you don't want to be promoting that using drugs to that extent is normal.
It was strange, but it was more strange because they killed off a character
based on an accident that possibly happened.
And they might say, like, I had nothing to do with that. It's like, sure, well, then don't make him high and don't make him like a known stoner. Like, ugh.
Yeah, good point.
Again, it wasn't like at the end they're like, you know what, let's clean up our life. I know that would have been really cliche and it's not what this film was about. It's okay, but yeah, it almost just sounded like, hey, we're going to be really cool. We're going to have drugs all the time. It's going to be really normal. We're not going to talk about it. That's how normal it's going to be. And it was just embarrassing, to be honest. It was really embarrassing.
Good.
I thought it was a really rough take on dads in general.
Yeah.
Dads got a pretty bad rap.
They're absent, yeah.
But you know what? I'm alright with getting people to think that they need to take more care if you are a dad, because you have a very, very important part to play in your children's lives. And then it's the obvious things like friendship and the trials and tribulations of friendship. This was a film about friendship more than anything else. I think this is the poor use of important other themes overshadowed that. And then the idea of growing up with your friends, and you know what, you can have the greatest intentions of being like this for the rest of your life, and it just doesn't work that way, right? Yeah,
the friendship thing is definitely that key cornerstone of this film. That it's hard to believe in this friendship when, like we spoke about before, two of the characters weren't really developed. Yeah. So that friendship group was hard to nut out.
It's true. You can still believe it on a surface level, and you can understand where Lily's coming from. We've all either been like that or have friends like that who just want to not recapture the past or stay in the present, but recognise what they've got is so great and not wanting to move on. Whereas everyone else is kind of like, I want to. I love doing this, but like I just want to dip my toe over here and over here, and that's pretty relatable. And I think if the film had to focus more on that angle, it would have been a far better film. Yeah. And I think it was supposed to. It just kind of got off track.
Yeah, fair. I mean, there was this emphasis too on her always being happy, and I think that maybe was a part of her trying to deal with that loss. But everything, and like, there's a few people that say not everything's happy. You know, life isn't always happy, and I think that they had this little idea that life, like I said about the police car, like life never stops. And even when you're having fun, and especially when you're not, life continues. So you can't just make everything happy. You've got to actually have the downs to have those happy moments too.
And I guess that's why they made the effort of killing off a main character, because they have to say that, you know, life doesn't stop for anybody.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't really get that vibe from the film. I understand it from a surface level, but they didn't do
just based on lines of dialogue that were dropped throughout the film, that's what they were going for.
I get what you were saying.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. All right. What do we take away from this film?
Yeah, well, I think we're probably a good segue from what we're talking about. Like, a lot of the time watching this film, I was just wondering where the story was going, because I think it half wanted to just exist and like hang with this group of girls, but then why did it have such a big tragedy to kick it off? Why did it have such big moments without it? Because it always felt like it was building to something, but I didn't know what it was building towards, and then it didn't build to anything anyway. So
it was literally a bunch of friends. They have an argument and they're back together at the end. It was literally like a day in the life of a teenager. That's all it was. There was nothing groundbreaking about the narrative at all.
But you know what? Richard Linklater makes that film, right? With that exact same premise, and he doesn't kill anybody off. He doesn't have a big rape scene. They don't smoke marijuana the whole time. Actually, they might. But that story can work if you just want to hang with those characters. 100%. But I think that half our foot was in here and half our foot was in here. And if someone said, "Oh, what were you building towards?" It's like, hey, we weren't building towards anything. We're just hanging out with these characters, watching them develop. And then it's like, well,
Tarantino is the best hangout director there is. Like,
sure, exactly. But you know what? He also makes big plot points work. And this was kind of just like, felt like they were just trying to do both, and they just kind of all muddled it up.
Yeah, just for me, that gloss over that sexual assault was really bad. That's all I can take from this film.
It's so true.
Yeah.
If someone asked me in 6 months' time, and you know we watch a lot of films, so you tend to forget real granular details. Yeah. What you remember out of a film is how you feel, right? If you love a film, it's because you felt a certain way, and that, you know, is what sticks with you. This is the thing that will stick with me, because it really bothered me that they did that. It really, really did. It felt so irresponsible. I know I'm harping on about it.
Yep. IMDb time to move on.
Yeah.
Did you jump on at any stage to look anyone up?
I did. So Chloe, who's played by Kathryn Prescott.
Good. This means we may have a different IMDb. It's been a while.
I've got two though.
Oh, you might have no.
You definitely won't have the second.
Okay.
So Kathryn Prescott was in To the Bone, which we watched on. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was the one, I think, who was bulimic, and she used to like vomit in her bag and stuff. She was also... Did you watch Skins?
The British show? Yeah.
She
Not
was
the American
Emily
one.
No, not the American one. Emily in Skins. Oh, shit. Maybe it was the American one. Can't remember. But she looked familiar when I saw a photo of her from Skins.
Yeah.
I should check that. This other one is so obscure because he was in about 14 seconds of this film. But early on, they go and buy drugs off this drug dealer.
Yeah.
And
which sets up that the brother, is that,
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's what your brother used to love, whatever. It just looked really familiar. His name's D.C. Pearson, and he works at the Apple store in Captain America Winter Soldier, and apart from that, he's in like he's got like heaps of credits. I don't even know if I remember him from that, but his face was really familiar, so I IMDb'd him. Oh, good. And I was disappointed that I didn't
know him from anything else.
Didn't know him from anything else, but there you go.
So his name was DC.
DC, so D.C.
Cool name.
Pearson. I'm sure it's not his real name. I'm sure his name's like Derek.
Acting
Christian.
name.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, we didn't have the same IMDb.
Cool. Good. You have because you have seen Awkwafina before, yeah.
I have, fortunately. I had that teacher that they have a go at in the room about why you're in class.
Oh, that's Forgetting Sarah Marshall, yeah.
Kenneth from 30 Rock.
Oh yeah.
That was. I was like that haircut, and I was like, I looked up like 30 Rock.
To me, he's always going to be the
Jack
religious husband from Forgetting Sarah Marshall who doesn't feel good about having sex with his wife because he's so religious.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I proposed at where that movie was filmed.
You did? That's right. So were you at the resort?
The resort from the film, yeah.
What's it called? Like
Turtle Bay.
Turtle Bay, yeah. So I recently went to Hawaii and I went to look at accommodation there and it was booked out like 6 months in advance. Yeah,
they've got there's like the gazebo where the wedding was and everything. It's cool. It's a cool place.
Did you get to? No, we're talking about that movie. But did you get to like sort of recognize parts of the movie that were?
Oh yeah, like you walk around, you're like, oh, this is the movie. Yeah, this is the movie.
Man, I would have enjoyed it.
It was cool. All right, question time.
I have the most questions that I've ever had for you. Maybe because I was really pissed off with lots of this film, and a lot of it's just like, ugh. But before I start that, obviously we've got to do the. Would you?
Yeah, these are the only questions I have. So
okay, they're good questions. Would you rather fart out of your mouth or sweat piss?
Fart out of my mouth.
I think so too. Yeah. You can hide that better.
Yeah. Piss running down your face would be ordinary.
And it would smell. And not that sweat smells.
My sweat
great.
Smells enough as it is. Yeah.
Nah, that's a good choice. Tough one here. Penises for fingers or vaginas for ears?
Penises for fingers, I think.
So, there's got to be a stipulation on can your vagina ears still hear? Because if they're just vaginas, then you're deaf, and that's a big caveat. Because if you can still hear out of these vagina ears, I'd choose that.
Well, might not be able. Your hands might be so sensitive with the fingers that you can't touch anything. So your hands are you don't have hands. I think we're looking into this too deeply.
No. These are the questions.
Just go on the quick fire answer. Penises for fingers, please.
Well, I'm going to go vaginas for ears. If you can hear.
Well, my hands would have fun with your ears.
Well, that was the gag, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, this question. This pissed me off. So, you talk about this 11-minute session that they have together where they go to third base together. They're in the car, like, directly afterwards, and he's talking about how you're going to have to play soccer against my ex-girlfriend tonight. Yep.
This is with Noah.
Yep. Lily and Noah. And he's like, well, she's also going to be pretty mad because she caught wind of you and me. How? Like, they just got inside from hooking up.
It's a good point.
Was he like live streaming them hooking up?
Maybe. Probably text her and said, I found someone else. And
I'm assuming he means like she got wind of us like chatting. And being friendly.
And me singing a song asking to prom, maybe that made
the
spread.
When they're on the soccer field, the ex-girlfriend was just like, well, he hooked up with you today, but he hooked up with me last night. How did all this happen? How did she know all this?
Social media, mate. It just gets spread.
He literally like put his pants back on and then told her.
Wanted to make her jealous.
Ridiculous. A bit more serious. Why do you think Lily wanted to go upstairs with that guy before she got raped? Now,
it was because she was really annoyed with her friend, wasn't it?
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden she was just in a shit mood. Yeah. Oh, because she told her about...
and she'd already had a disagreement with Noah, hadn't he? Noah had told her that you're a horrible person.
That's right. But then... Yeah, because... Okay, so we're just saying that she'd had a rough night. She was in a bad state of mind. And
she just wanted some company.
Okay. Another question. So Noah is younger than them, because they kind of say like you're going to hand the reins over to Noah next year from a student council perspective. And he kind of makes the point that and she says like I'm going out with a young guy or whatever. Why was he at prom?
Because it was the date of... Oh, but he asked her, didn't he?
And that girl's
maybe it's a
school.
Senior prom and you're the top 2 levels allowed to go.
Do schools do that?
Not like... I'm in America, I can imagine it happening. It'd be like the senior... It'd be like... Because you've got your seniors, your sophomores and your juniors or whatever. So it's like 2 years for each. Okay. So I reckon it'd be, top 2 years.
Best answer we've had so far, so I'll allow that. But I still was like, why is this guy here?
Talking shit. It could be wrong. But that's my guess.
Yeah, okay. And my last question. Why did Lily's mum call Lily's dad to say like, oh, she's graduating, she's doing the speech, the other kid's going well?
Yeah, there's a weird scene where she's just on the phone.
So I was expecting the dad to turn up. Just like, I'm like, well, there's no reason this scene exists without the dad turning up.
It's just another dig at dads. Just another stab in the back, say, nah, they're horrible.
Maybe it is, but like, we just didn't need that 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And they could have edited this down quite well.
Yeah.
I got one other question that you missed.
Good.
Would you rather lose all the hair on your body or be a prostitute for a week?
That's right, I missed that one, didn't I? So all the hair on your body is permanent.
All the hair on your body is permanent. So facial hair, eyebrows, hair on your head.
Wouldn't be
a very good look.
And you know what? Doesn't hair serve quite a good purpose of keeping... no, that's eyelashes.
Eyelashes keep the sweat out of your eyes.
Can I keep my eyelashes?
No, lose all hair. So you'd have to pencil your eyebrows on.
I don't even care about the look. I just want to care about how my body handles. Maybe I'm just going to be a prostitute for a week. I'm sure no one would really want to hire me anyway.
Depends if you've got those vaginas for years.
That would be dangerous. Man, that would be dangerous.
Okay, I think we're ready to wrap this one up. So,
hey, what was your answer?
What was the question? Hair on the body or prostitute for a week? I'd probably go the prostitute for a week.
Yeah, it does make more sense.
Yeah. All right, time to wrap this up. On Flix Forum, we give our films a rating out of 5 and then average it out for a Flix Forum average. MJ, what are you thinking?
Okay, so it just really didn't work for a number of reasons. And despite a few bits of dialogue that did resonate, and I did have the odd laugh, I couldn't get into it. I've talked about this a lot, but it completely missed the mark on covering sexual abuse and drug use, and the film just kind of meandered its way along without too much aim. Although I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be some sort of aim. So it's 2 stars.
2 stars, okay. So yeah, towards the end, I've just had this feeling like there was a large part the last part was like trying to make it like Lily had grown as a human, whereas I don't think I'd really seen any growth in her throughout. Sure. And I just really don't know what to think still. Like like for a small budget film, a lot of the craft stuff was okay. It was, the performances weren't bad. It just wasn't a great film. So I'm also giving it a 2.
Yeah.
Which gives us an average of 2. Social media.
Yeah.
We are there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us. Like our posts if you can.
We need to get Noah's social media team onto this because that'll get the word out real quick.
Yeah. Very good point. So sometimes we put a question up, see what our audience thinks. So this week I'm asking, should sadness be something experienced with others? Because I feel like that in this film, if Lily had have tried to share that...
What a lovely question.
...sadness with others, then maybe she wouldn't have been as revved up this whole film.
That's a lovely question. And you know what? They could have put that into the film and it would have been nice. I'm going to say yes, Jesse.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a pretty easy answer.
Yeah, nice one.
Next week, we're back. We have another film. It's a 2018 comedy.
Is it a comedy?
Hopefully it is a
like
comedy.
This?
It's called Candy Jar.
Candy Jar.
It's directed by Ben Shelton. And it stars Sammy Gale and Jacob Latimore.
Cool. Don't know, but...
Don't know it either. So
do it.
We'll go in cold, give it a watch.
That's
hopefully have a laugh.
I'm sure we will. Candy Jar.
Well, that was a good chat. For a film that we probably didn't rate as a high one, we still had a good discussion.
It was always going to be a good discussion. So the point of this podcast has always been when you watch a film, you just want to chat about it. This is a film that I really wanted to chat about. Yeah. I was telling people about it today, even who hadn't seen it. And I was like, guess what happened in this film that I watched?
They wouldn't have picked it. All right, well, I'll see you again next week.
You will. Thank you for listening, and you will hear me and Jesse next week as well.
Sounds good.
Bye.